Dusty Schmidt, welcome to the 49th hour of the 50-hour 22Q Ironman charity podcast. We thank you so much for closing the show as our final guest. How are you, sir?
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, God, thank you for agreeing to be on. We do apologize in advance. We've been on the air for now in our 49th hour. You are the 30th guest. Our voices are starting to go. And we're starting to feel some fatigue, but we're really excited to have you on and talking with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I know I've been in your shoes. I hosted the 48-hour cash game, the Party Poker Big Game, a couple of times, and I wasn't even able to make the whole way. So
you're a sympathizer then. You understand?
Oh, yeah.
First thing I want to ask you about while it's fresh on my mind, we had a guest on earlier who brought you up and gave us his interpretation.
I thought I brought. No, I didn't. I brought up the blog. I'm sorry.
I don't remember. So one way or another, we had Jared Tendler on the show. He analyzed us all. He got inside of our heads.
He put us to sleep, but like in a
he experimented around
like male sexy way. It was weird. It was weird.
His voice was soothing and hypnotic, and at the end of it all, we learned about the true meaning of life. But he had mentioned that he had done a lot of work with you, and prior to it, you were having issues with laptops and everything else. I'm just wondering if you can follow up for the listening audience your experience with Mr. Tendler.
Well, it was great. You know, I met him on a golf trip to Bannon Dunes Golf Resort, and he was working with some PGA Tour players at the time, and I ended up taking down his contact info. He was cool to be around. And later on in the year, after I started playing some higher stakes, I started to get a lot more pissed off, and I would maybe have a bad day, lose 10,000 or something, and I think I'd broken one laptop, and I just broke. I used to have like 3 or 4 different mice, like at all times, like right next to me, because I would just like break them and need to have a mouse real quick to like get to the rest of the action. So I just plug a new one in, and so it was not good. I was kind of a hothead, and I worked with. I kind of convinced him into helping me out with poker, even though he was doing golf for the most part, and he kind of realized, I think, how similar the two were, and the challenges that people face mentally are very similar, and I think they are, as someone who's a golf professional also. And so he got the hang of poker pretty well, and obviously now he's working with a lot of the best players in the world, and it was a fantastic experience for me, and I don't really have any issues like that anymore. I'm pretty calm when I play.
So he cured you then?
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
So then you would vouch for his services, or you would recommend his services?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, no question.
Dusty, can you tell us what it was like being a professional golfer before and switching over to becoming a poker player?
Professional golfer for me was more fun, more what I really love to do. Just didn't pay very well. If I was, I'm probably good enough golfer to where I'd be a guy that would make like $100,000 a year playing poker. I was kind of on that level in golf. But in golf, you pretty much need to make it all the way to the top to, really make a lot of money and be able to support yourself. So wasn't able to do that. But, becoming a poker pro has been really cool because I've always been competitive, and I like to compete at things and try and beat people, or probably a better way to put it would be to play my best, which hopefully then translates into beating people. But it's been great because obviously having some money and being able to do some things and take time for yourself is a pretty good thing that poker offers.
How is since Black Friday? How has that affected your life and your ability to play poker like you did before? Because anyone knows that you're consistently playing online and one of the biggest winners for a long time. I mean, how has that changed your life? And wouldn't you think that you'll be able to start playing online again?
Yeah, well, when Black Friday happened, I mean, I guess a lot of people would have been pretty devastated. I mean, I had a pretty nice contract there with Poker Stars, and was doing really well for myself at the tables, of course, and making kind of like life-changing sums of money each year. But I'd done well, with saving and investing and stuff like that, so I didn't really have any serious financial concerns, and so I kind of looked at it as an opportunity to start to play some more golf and really be active as much as I could with the birth of my son last August, and I did do some poker coaching just to kind of stay busy a little bit, but now I'm actually back playing online again. I recently, I guess about a month ago, became the spokesperson for America's Card Room, and so I'm back playing again quite a bit and having some fun competing, playing poker again.
You mentioned that you used to do some coaching. Are you still doing any of that now?
I've kept on some existing students that I was working with before that didn't want to lose me as their coach, but not taking on any new students. I kind of I enjoyed it, but I didn't. Truthfully, I I wasn't expecting it, but I put my services out there, and then I got really booked really fast, and it kind of became a job, and I kind of more or less wanted to do some poker coaching just to kind of stay active in the game and help people out, and hopefully be able to kind of live vicariously through my students and their successes. But I got pretty busy, and that's not really what I was looking for, so I kind of just stopped coaching and just kind of work with some of my existing students.
Dusty, once again, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. Tell me a little bit more about you were talking about hosting the 48-hour big game. Tell me a little bit more about that experience. Is that something that you really enjoy doing? Is something you're looking to, the direction you're looking to move in, or was it just like a one-off thing?
I would definitely love to do some more commentating, especially for cash games, where I feel like that's something I can give some really strong analysis on. But I've just done it a couple of times, and I think a lot of it is you get to playing poker and sitting in front of the computer and playing table 10, 12, 20 tables sometimes, and doing that day after day. And I've been fortunate enough, as I said earlier, to do well with poker, so I don't need to necessarily grind like that. I just you end up doing it because that's what we do. But I really like to kind of get out there and do some different things, which is why I've written the couple of books I wrote, and doing announcing and just doing kind of fun stuff like that. In fact, I've got a poker coaching seminar in Germany coming up here in a couple of months, and looking forward to that. So I'm trying to just kind of do a lot of different things within poker that are fun and kind of keep playing fresh instead of just grinding every single day forever.
Sorry, Dusty, I'm fading fast, man.
Oh no, I'm
no
here.
problem, buddy. Like I said, I've been right there before.
Dusty, this is Brandon Gerson. Nice to meet you. Actually, you're one of the few guests on the show that I don't think I've ever had any interaction with, but very nice to meet you. Thank you for coming on, and as you know, we're all fading, so some of these questions may just be outright insane, so please just bear with me. Don't break any laptops out of anger at anything I ask you. And again, I had to go get a drink of water and wash my face, so I missed the first 5 minutes. Has anyone talked to you? You're a golfer. Has that been talked about yet? Golf at all?
Yeah.
That was already talked about?
Oh, no. I mean, I talked a little bit about it, but yeah, I mean, I actually did start playing a little bit more professional golf earlier this year. I took the month of January and just went down to California. And
what I wanted to ask you about, and this is how I first heard of you, and it was a thread, I believe, on 2+2, which, that's another story. Actually, what's your opinion of 2+2? I'll ask you that. Do you post on 2+2?
No, I've been life banned from 2+2.
Oh, welcome to the club. You're part of Yes. Okay. All right. I was a life band in March of 2007. So I'm going on my.
Like a badge of honor around here.
It will be my 5-year anniversary is coming up. And you know the best part about it,
even banned from 2+2
is when you get life banned on 2+2, before you know it and you attempt to log in, it says length of ban and then it just says forever.
Yeah.
Like,
Number will be reinstated. Never. You would just think that either A, like it just would never let you log in again, or they would delete your account, or just not let you access it through your password. But it literally just says forever. And I had a shot of it just because it's just basically everything what Mason Melamy is about. But the reason how I first heard of you was on that awful site, and it involved I'm trying to remember exactly the whole story, but it involved something you're involved in with golf and $1 million. And I know it involved the USGA, and because of poker and your amateur status, and I guess you were a hell of a golfer. But this is, I guess, it's just like back. I want to think it's like almost 3 years ago. This is quite some time. Is that about right? The time frame? Yeah, it was summer of '09. Yeah.
If you don't mind, and I don't remember, and if it's something you don't want to talk about, obviously, please just tell me and don't throw the laptop against the wall. But what exactly was that all about? Because I remember it being interesting, and it blew up the forums for quite some time. And I'm sure whatever it was, it resulted in you getting your joining this prestigious club of being banned from 2+2. But please tell us about it.
No, actually being banned from 2+2 was more or less Mason's sour grapes about me not publishing my book through him, because my book did really well and he knew it was going to do well, and he gets bitter when he doesn't get all his little piece of the pie always. So, but anyway, in terms of the golf challenge, basically what happened was I issued a challenge to anybody in the world that I would play them for $1 million, $500,000 worth of action on golf, $500,000 worth of action on poker. It consisted of, I think, like 90 holes of golf and 10 heads-up poker matches. And anyway, I felt really strongly that there was no one out there that could beat me, and I would welcome anybody's action and look at it as a nice way to hopefully make some money. But what had happened is about a month later, I got a phone call from the USGA, and they said, "Hey, we noticed that you put up this challenge on YouTube, and we want to make sure you haven't done it yet, because if you decide to play this match, you're going to lose your amateur status." And I said, okay, that's fine. I haven't played the match yet, so if I decide to do it, I understand I lose my amateur status. So then a couple weeks went by, and I got a letter this time from the USGA, and it was straight from their president, the same guy you'd see given at the awards ceremony for the US Open. And he said, "Hey, effective today, you're a professional golfer, and by virtue of offering this challenge." And so I'd already sort of had it in writing that it was okay as long as I didn't play anybody. And then they reversed their course, which is in their own rules that they can't do, that I would have to be a professional by virtue of offering the challenge. So long story short, I ended up suing them because the amateur status was important to me, and I really didn't want to lose that. And we wound up in court, and they ended up winning because there was no actual federal or state law that they broke in doing that. They were basically just dickheads. And the judge kind of said so much, he actually kind of reprimanded the USGA for their practices and said, I wish I could side with this guy because I don't believe you did the right thing, but I don't have any legal ground to rule against you. So I ended up essentially losing my amateur status, and nobody's taken me up on the challenge. I've sort of stopped offering it, after the court case. So I haven't had it up for some time, but in the many months that it was up, few people inquired, but nobody would actually play me.
And this is, if I'm not mistaken, the same organization, the USGA, that fought, I believe, Casey Martin for many, many years in court as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, and actually I had Casey. Yeah, it was actually the PGA Tour, but it was partly the USGA as well, because the USGA said that they would just support whatever the PGA Tour did. So you're pretty much right.
And for those that don't know, just so they understand the story, Casey Martin, I believe he went to Stanford. Is that correct? Same school that Tiger Woods went to?
Exactly. Yeah, and he was my roommate too. Casey
okay. That I thought that as well, and he was Casey Martin was an amazing golfer. I don't know exactly. You can obviously tell us what his accolades were, if he ever won the what he won, if he ever won an amateur. What is it? What is the amateur event that Tiger Woods won 3 years in a row? Just the
US
big
amateur.
Yeah, the U.S. Amateur. I believe Casey Martin won that. Did he, or am I mistaken?
No, he did not win the U.S. Amateur, but he won the NCAA at Stanford, and
okay.
And he won, as a professional several times.
And tell me, I remember the whole basis of why it went to trial was he was trying to get an exemption to be able to use a cart when he was playing golf, because he had a severely debilitating disease. And again, I'm not sure. I don't remember what the disease was. It's been so long. Could you tell us what that was, please?
Yeah, so it's a vascular disease called Klippel-Trenaunay-Weber syndrome, which affects about 100 people in the world. I guess it's not very many people have that. And basically, the blood flows down into your, through your leg into your foot, and then for Casey, it doesn't flow back up very well, and so the blood just sort of pools, and it sort of atrophied his entire leg. I mean, his leg is, it's a sight to see for sure, and so he fought for a golf cart through going to court, and it wound up in the Supreme Court. He fought for the right to use a golf cart under the Americans with Disabilities Act, and he ultimately won. So he was able to play golf on the PGA Tour in a golf cart. And in fact, just 2 months ago, he qualified for the U.S. Open. So he was kind of back in the spotlight, and doing Good Morning America and a lot of shows like that. And I actually got
awesome. I thought he was out of golf. Someone, in fact, had just mentioned to me one of my very good friends, and actually another fellow owner of the site, stated that he now was a golf coach at Oregon.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
And he entered the U.S. Open qualifying, and just kind of on a whim. He hadn't played a golf tournament in 6 years, and he qualified for the U.S. Open, and then Tiger got a hold of him and congratulated him, and asked him to play golf in the practice rounds with him. So I was actually I kind of rode the coattails of my friend there, and went to the U.S. Open and got to walk around with him and Tiger, and got to meet Tiger Woods, and it was really fun for me too.
Well, out of curiosity, so obviously you and Casey have kept in touch and remained close since your college days?
Yeah, I mean, Casey's actually about 9 years older than me, but I roomed with Casey in 2005 and 6, and we were just kind of fellow professional golfers, I guess, at the time. But I didn't go to school with him. But yeah, we stay in great touch, and we're both huge Duck football fans, so I see him every Saturday this time of year. Usually either home or on the road, because oftentimes we travel to the road games. So yeah, we hang out quite a bit.
What was it like, I guess, being a part of, or just describe for us, being a part of Tiger Woods' entourage, just, for the time that you were?
Yeah, it was, it was really cool. In fact, Casey was really funny because, he was kind of driving down the fairway and in his golf cart, and came up pretty close to the ropes, and he was just talking to Tiger. And, you know, as anytime Tiger's on the golf course, there's a billion people around. And Casey just kind of rode up to me, saw me standing right there, and he said, "Hey, Tiger, come over here." And he came up over there. He's like, "Hey, Dusty." He's like, "This is Tiger Woods. You may have heard of him." He's like, and so the whole gallery just started laughing. And anyway, I got to meet him, and you know, just kind of walked with him for a few seconds, and you know, we just chatted briefly. But the funny thing is, you know, you're famous when the people that meet you become famous by virtue of meeting you. I was once I went back, you know, inside the ropes. All these people wanted to meet me and ask me what it was like to meet Tiger Woods.
Wow. Is there a chance that
just
like
shook
this?
his hand? Oh my God! Like,
Is there a chance this can have like some sort of Inception 3-layer deep thing with me now, where people will ask me what it's like to meet the guy who met Tiger Woods?
it might. He might just be that famous.
Wow. So I can actually say I met a guy who knew a guy who met Tiger Woods.
Yeah. And then that makes you big time right there. You probably get a reality TV show.
Wow. Good. That is. Yeah, you're right. You know, in today's day and world, I wouldn't be surprised if some network put me on TV because of that. Jesus.
Yeah, I think people have made it big for less right there.
I guess we didn't fully touch on it, and people are just enamored about this whole 2+2 thing in general. What was the official reason you were banned? Someone's asking me. Was it for just posting in that thread, or did it? I mean, what happened? Why were you banned?
Well, I'll tell you the story. I've never told this story, but I'll just tell it. Who
It's
cares?
for the kids. It's for the kids.
This guy's an idiot.
We had Daniel Negreanu on yesterday, and he actually called him. First words when his name was brought up was, "He's the dickhead." So yeah, speak freely.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so basically, like anytime anybody would start a thread about my book because he was, you know, pissed off that, you know, we had a relationship with 2+2 through Card Runners and Stocks Poker when I was a part owner over there, and I guess he sort of expected that I would publish my book through him, and I declined to, you know, work with him. So anyway, basically anytime anybody would start a thread or anything on my book, he would just sort of like try and close the thread down, or if I even answered anything, like just answered somebody's question in one of the threads about my book, he would call it self-promotion, or, you know, he would find some, you know, loose interpretation of one of his rules or something and try and apply it to me. So eventually, after a while, I, you know, messaged him, and I was like, "Dude, I mean, what are you doing?" You know what I mean? Like, this is ridiculous. I mean, you know, maybe I'll do another book with you in the future, or I don't know. Like, just, you know, I don't know why you have to be this way, you know. And he gives me some, you know, dickhead reply. I don't even remember what it was, but it sort of devolved into basically me telling Mason to like pull his head out of his ass and go fuck himself.
Okay.
And then when I went to log in about 30 minutes later, it was this user has been banned. When length of ban forever. And then that was pretty much about it.
Wow. That's really all it takes these days.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the story.
How often do you golf these days?
I'm playing golf. I just kind of go in spurts. It seems like I'll play, you know, 10 out of 12 days, and then I won't play for like 8 days or something like that. So I've probably been averaging 2 or 3 rounds a week this summer, and pretty much just playing seasonally right now because the weather's pretty terrible here in Oregon, out of season. So I just kind of focus upon poker a lot when the weather's bad, and then I try and play a lot of golf when the weather's good.
Hey, Dustin, Dusty, real quick, we have we have a live chat going on. Obviously, as this interview is going on, and someone in the chat requested to know a little bit about your killer Phil Hellmuth blogs. Can you discuss a little bit about that?
My Phil Hellmuth blogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I always love ragging on Hellmuth, that's for sure. I mean, I wrote the book called Don't Listen to Phil Hellmuth. So he's sort of my favorite guy to needle because he's just so full of shit. But, yeah, I mean, I've kind of like, you know, we've kind of done some back and forth, I guess, in some of our blogs. I think somebody asked him, you know, hey, have you heard about this book called Don't Listen to Phil Hellmuth? And he said, yeah. And he said, what do you think about it? And he said, tell that kid if I don't know anything about poker, then Michael Jordan doesn't know anything about basketball. So it kind of started with that, and then, you know, there's just been sort of, I guess, a lot of back and forth because a lot of the poker shows like to, you know, if they interview Hellmuth, you know, and then they happen a month or two later to interview me, then they love to kind of tie it together and all that stuff. So we just kind of had some back and forth, but, you know, I mean, I told him I'd, you know, basically he could pick his stakes and we'd play heads up and pick the location, pick wherever, whatever he wants to do. And
can I bet on your side?
And then that's when he gets real quiet. He says, why should I give the kid the shot at the world champ? He's like, well, dude, you were 2 years old the last time you were world champ. But, yeah, so.
Do you play high stakes golf? Like in terms of betting? With any of the guys, you know, I mean, obviously everyone knows, you know, Lindgren and Negreanu, and a lot of those guys play pretty big stakes. Have you ever been involved in any of that?
You know, I'd love to. It's just, you know, at my club and all that stuff, nobody, I mean, like, a big game at my club, even though it's a pretty wealthy club, you know, is like win or lose $100. And so nobody really wants to play for a lot. And then, you know, going to Vegas and stuff like that, if I were to get involved with, you know, playing with guys like Negreanu or Ivy or whatever, you know, it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be some goofy bet where they play the red tees and I use 3 clubs, or, you know, I don't know, all that kind of stuff. And,
right,
you know, I mean, I'd love to get, you know, 3 other guys similar ability to me and just play straight up and play for a lot of money. I think I would love to do something like that because I probably think I could handle some of the big money shots maybe a little better than some other people. But, you know, that's pretty hard to find because how are you going to find 3 professional golfers that have enough money to play for a lot that aren't way better than me because they're PGA Tour players? So
absolutely,
kind of hard for me to find like any kind of fun action for golf.
It totally makes sense. Another question from our listeners: have you considered ever moving to Canada or outside the country to play online poker, as many online players have?
You know, I suppose if something happened like, you know, Mitt Romney became president and then, you know, had all online betting banned because that's his religion or whatever, like, if there was something where it just looked devastatingly bad to ever play at all in the United States, then, you know, I might consider doing something like that. But at this point, you know, I mean, even if I knew it was just going to come back 5, 6, 10 years from now or something like that, I'd just wait it out as opposed to going to another country. But certainly if, you know, something devastatingly bad happens to me financially or something like that, I'd probably be on a plane pretty fast to play overseas and start making some money again online.
Dusty, do you think your ability to play poker has actually helped your mental game in golf? I mean, you mentioned that you'd like to play some high-stakes golf with 3 other people, you know, who have your equivalent abilities. Do you think you'd come out with the cash because of, you know, the mental ability to handle the swings or to be able to make the big shot in a tough situation?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think, you know, I really enjoy hitting important shots, and I think a good majority of people that I see that are sort of fringe professionals, which is kind of what I would describe myself as. You know, a lot of their biggest hurdle, the reason why they're not, you know, on television, is not necessarily because they don't play as well as some of the guys on PGA Tour, but you know, they just don't quite have the insides to really hit the big shot when it counts. And you know, I mean, you know, I don't have like a ton of proof at this point that I could, you know, consistently hit great shots under pressure. But I just can't help but think that with all the work that I've done with Jared, that I would be in a really good position to do that. And when I have competed professionally this year and, you know, put it to the test, I was fortunate enough to hit a lot of good shots that mattered, and it kind of boosted my confidence quite a lot in that regard, to have some, you know, actual proof that the mental game was a lot better than it was when I was playing pro golf, you know, way back when.
Johnny, are you still with us, buddy?
Yes, I am.
Are you really with us?
Yeah, I'm really with you, man. I'm absolutely with you. I've been listening intently. What are you talking about?
Just so everyone knows, we're down to 83 minutes left in this broadcast.
83 minutes left in the broadcast. I did step away for a minute because we got some donations, and I calculated them in, and I went and did the poker room math and calculated that in. So I did step away, so I didn't catch a little section of it, but so far it's been tremendous. Unfortunately, I'm not as sharp on my toes as I usually am, and I don't have any more questions for you, Dusty. I apologize.
Johnny, while we have Dusty on, why don't you give us the grand total you have so far?
So far, we have raised... Oh, big shout out to Corey Zeidman, who just made a donation. Thank you very much.
Very nice. Thank you, Corey.
The Usello family just made a donation.
Thank you, Joe, Paula, Julian, and Samantha.
And Matt Reams just made a donation.
Matt, thank you very much.
Matt the Rat.
Oh, is that Matt the Rat?
Yep.
For a grand total of $6,673.89.
Wow. Everybody start clapping. That's an amazing thing we did, guys.
Wow, that's pretty good.
What? Yeah, that's wow. Awesome. Good stuff. And you know what? I want to add a little bit more to it. So, Dusty, you're going to play a game with us. The final game.
Hey, real quick, Brandon. Do you know that? Did you see the message from Michelle later on? She said if we had asked her the same question, which we're gonna do, she actually would have taken mine and Johnny's side on it, which is pretty screwed up. But that's all right.
Oh, jeez. How do we? The one guest we don't ask, she picks our side after when we're stuck. Huge. Dusty, we've been gambling. Obviously, in this charity podcast, we've been gambling amongst ourselves like fiends. We have a certain question. Brandon has.
But the point of it, the gambling, is whoever ends up losing the money.
We're just firing donations. It's what it is we ask a guest, and then we called a bunch of poker rooms and asked them too. But Brandon has one side of the bet, and we have another, and we're essentially laying him 2-1 because myself and Kevin have one side of it, and we're betting a donation that what the answers more people will give. So if a person answers Brandon's way, me and Kevin do a $25 donation each to the charity right then and there. And if a person answers our way, Brandon does a $25 donation. And you're probably...
I thought it was 2-1.
Yeah, me and Kevin each do a 25, so it's our 50 to your 25.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm sorry. It's Kevin and I, right? Exactly.
Kevin and I. And we've probably done this, I don't know, a dozen times so far.
So here's the question. Okay, I'm going to ask you this question, and you can think for a couple of seconds. We cannot influence you in any way. You could talk it out in your head. You could even, if you want, without any of us interfering.
You can talk it out on the radio.
Tell us why, or even think about it. But this is the question, and I'm going to ask you, and until you respond, the three of us are not going to make a comment.
Okay.
Okay. In your opinion, at this moment, who is the greatest superstar in poker?
Who is the greatest superstar? That's an interesting
or who is the biggest superstar in poker? If that question was asked to you by me or someone on the street, what one name would you say?
Oh man,
Brandon again with his leading questions. The biggest superstar.
Yeah, that's not the question. Who is poker's biggest superstar?
That's fine. Yep. Okay.
Who is poker's biggest superstar?
It's not who is poker's best player. It's not who is poker's most recognizable player.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is who is poker's biggest superstar.
That's how I interpreted it to be the question. Yeah. God. I mean, it's. I think that's a close one.
Well, you can give us a sweat. Okay.
I just
We're
can't
not
even
going to say anything
say
else.
Talk it out. Talk it out for us, Dusty.
Talk us out. Give us the names that are in your head.
Well, I just can't even make my final answer Phil Hellmuth because I just can't stand him.
I swear to God, Dusty, I swear to God, in the chat before you said it, I said if he says Hellmuth, I will die based on the fact I know your hatred for him. So, but anyway,
Well, let's not talk anymore. Just tell us what the other names that are in your head. Work it out and give us an answer.
But I mean, he might be, but I just can't say it even if he is. But I don't know if he really is.
Do you guys mind if I basically let them know? Well, that's not even an answer. So don't worry about even saying that.
If you answer that, the children get nothing.
Yeah. So work it out in your head and just give us a name. This is our final.
I'm just gonna go with Phil Ivey.
Ah, you son of a gun!
Bam, 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 bam! More money for the kids, y'all. Kids.
I think that's like. I think if I, like when I interact with a lot of members at my club, they almost always when we play golf will ask me something about poker, and I feel like everybody knows.
Can I ask you a question, Dusty?
My two esteemed co-hosts have been wagering on Negreanu, and in all actuality, the only two people that have said Negreanu, one was.
Talk about it's been 3 of them. It's 4-3 now.
But who was the third? No, actually, you lost one while you were asleep too, while you were gone.
Kevin's not in on that one though because he wasn't here to book.
I mean, that there was Okay, the one that I remember for sure, Greg Mueller, who's Canadian. Also, we had Major League Baseball pitcher
Ryan Dempster,
who was Canadian and a poker player, and said they both said Negreanu. And who was the third? I can't think of a third. I think it's only
my
two.
personal experience, but I'm around a lot of older people at the golf course a lot. Is almost everybody knows who Doyle Brunson is.
It is only 2 because. Oh no, that doesn't. I've been donating as we go instead of banking it. So.
2.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone even close to my age would say Phil Ivey, and I feel like anyone 50 plus would say Doyle.
And nobody would ever say Negreanu on any planet, so we just took the biggest sucker bet ever. I
feel like Negreanu is definitely very recognizable, but I feel like people just.
We just thought because of the commercials and the poker stars and the. Phil Ivey went away for a year. We just figured Negreanu was
scumbag full tilt. You know what I mean? I don't know.
All right, I will match what you guys have lost, but you can't say a word here. Okay, this is just gonna be a free roll. Okay, Dusty. Okay, you guys promised me. Neither one of you, my hosts, are gonna give any help here. Okay?
Sure.
Okay, this is all on me. Dusty, we actually asked Greg Raymer this question, and I will. In fact, you know what? I will. What do you guys stuck in this bet?
I'm stuck 100.
Okay, Kevin.
75.
Okay, so I will make it 350, and I'm already I've donated, and that's this is just a free roll, and it's kind of fun, but $350 I will donate if you can tell me the first name that came to Greg Raymer's mouth when we asked Greg Raymer the exact same question.
Oh my God! Well, it's obviously something ridiculous.
Guys, no.
I'm just laughing, Brandon. There's nothing against laughing.
Brandon, all you did was give leading questions this whole time. We're not saying anything. Calm down.
Come on. He wasn't going to say Negreanu before.
You made sure to put greatest in every single time that you did that. You actually asked the question.
Phrase. Were you ever Negreanu? Were you going to say Negreanu? Dusty, no. was that even in your?
I would if I had 5, I would put him in the top 5.
Okay, right. So there you go, guys. It wasn't fixed. Okay, getting back to Greg Raymer. What is the first name that he said?
The most famous person in poker, or basically. Wow.
Yep. And you know what? I'll even add to the ante, Dust. I'll buy $200 worth of your books and donate them in any way, or if you have a charity, I'll donate to that. I'll make the whole thing $500.
This is how difficult the question is to answer.
Hey,
Wow.
you know, you're influencing
Can
here.
I get like one hint?
Dusty, pull up your Twitter account. You might have a message being sent.
Oh, you know what? Now, come on, guys.
I have not sent anything.
I would not have done that. Come on.
Oh, no, other people may have. I'm going to look at his Twitter, though. So then don't even look at your Twitter. This is for the kids and for your books and for Casey Martin. I know Tiger Woods now.
So hey, real quick, Brandon. Which answer sticks? Is it the first one he said or the
It's the
second?
it's the first one that he said.
Good.
The most famous guy. I'm gonna. God.
Yeah, but he said that person would be, but he doesn't feel.
No, he answered that, and then he went to once he realized he misunderstood the question.
Yeah.
He
I'm
went
gonna
into
guess it's either a famous person that isn't even really a poker pro, or a complete bum poker pro like TJ Cloutier or something. What?
well, you know, you're thinking it out, right?
I mean, really?
If you win, I'll chop it with you,
Hey,
Brandon.
You made sure to tell him that it wasn't Phil Hellmuth. I mean, he could have picked Hellmuth and we would have pushed. So
No, but the whole point wasn't to do that. We didn't want to push ending it, but okay.
I'm gonna go with. Dang it. Doug Lee.
Thank you.
No. That was a sweat right there because he was talking it out perfect.
You were right fucking there, Dusty. Go ahead, guys. Tell him
First, when we said who is the biggest superstar in poker, he thought for a second, clearly not understanding the question, and he said Matt Damon. then we explained the question to him, and he was like,
Then
"Oh
he
yeah."
talked about Ben Affleck.
Then we explained the question, and then he said Ben Affleck, and then we explained it again, and he said Chris Moneymaker.
Wow.
So
But you were right there when you said when my heart started to beat. And then what? It's for the kids. But I thought I was gonna. I got nailed today on another question. I had I don't know if you know who Todd Dandruff with Tellus is, but he was on while we were interviewing Ryan Dempster, and I asked him a trivia question that I thought he'd have no idea. And the trivia. Are you a baseball fan?
Yeah.
All right, you know what? I'm going to give this to you. Okay, I'm going to give you out. I want to give money to the kids, and I love doing trivia. Same bet applies as always. And
Well, if it's recent baseball, I'm not very good, but I'm.
no, it's not recent. Okay,
Okay.
we had Ryan Dempster on our show, and in May of 2007, against the New York Mets, Dempster tossed a one-hitter, which is the only time he's ever done that in his career. They ended up winning the game 3-0 against the Mets. The no-hitter was broken up in the 6th inning by a double. Name the New York Met that broke up his no-hitter.
Oh man, see, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that. I think I just have to pass.
Just think 2000, and that was the team that ended up playing the Yankees in the Subway Series. So I don't know if that will help.
That was the year 2000, not 2007.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like played baseball a ton as a kid, and I sort of lost interest. So I know everything from like 1950 to 1995, and then after that, I'm just completely worthless.
I'll give you a hint. He was, if not, I'm trying to think of the exact roster. If not the biggest star on that team, he had, at the very least, he was the second biggest star. It wasn't an obscure player, and that's the only hint I can give you.
And he was on the New York Mets.
China Reyes wasn't playing on the Mets in 2000.
Was that who he's guessing? Okay.
That's who China was.
Yeah, I'm just bad. I mean, I would like the only thing I can think of recently for the Mets, like Mike Piazza or something.
Yeah, ship it.
Ship it.
It was Mike Piazza. Unbelievable. Great
Nice.
job. And no one loses here. The kids win. This was fun. Put me down for another one there, guys. I think, were we all even? Actually, I'm still, I think, one up ahead. Or you guys are one ahead of me because of, Ivy. So the whole thing was a push, and the money was just more money going to a great charity. So listen, we have an hour and 10 minutes. Thank you for taking the time. We're going to do our closing, I don't know, what have yous here. Dusty, thank you very, very much for bearing with us, talking to us. And now I know, I can say I know someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows Tiger Woods. And that's very impressive. I've already gotten 3 tweets about that, actually. So it's going to just help my credibility and advancement. And
it'll help your street cred.
Yeah, street cred. Dusty, seriously, thank you. I'm glad you're not smashing computers against the wall daily anymore. And just all the best to you. And hopefully sometime in the future when we've haven't been up for 50 somewhat hours, and I guess in Johnny's case close to 60 now, we'd love to have you back on our show with Filthy Limper Radio, and we can talk more, and we'll be more coherent, and we can talk about some of your ventures, books, just how everything's going, and I don't know, just whatever you'd like.
Awesome. Contact me anytime. I'd love to.
Thank you, Dusty. Thank you for being a phenomenal guest to back clean up for the entire guest roster. We really appreciate it.
Best of luck with America's Card Room, too.
Thank you very much.